What is up, everybody? I am NerdRage36, back with another pickups video. And even though I don't typically keep track of the number of episodes, at least in the videos themselves, this is going to be episode 36. And 36 is also in my username. What does that mean? Nothing. There's really nothing special about this. Although, admittedly, I do have a lot of stuff to talk about in this one. I actually came across quite a lot of things, and at plenty of reasonable prices. But if there was something particularly special about this specific pickups video, it would actually be this. A Zoids minifigure. And it's a Command Wolf, one of the most iconic Zoids in the franchise. And unlike the Elefander that I picked up in a previous video, this one is actually mostly complete. I mean, there is that little spot up top where you could probably insert a gun onto, but yeah, there's really nothing missing. The cockpit is still there, and yeah, it's not missing a leg or anything. It's all there. And that's honestly really cool. I guess the only real disappointment is that it's not red and black like Irvine, or black and red like Irvine's, and it's not blue like Brad's. So this specific Command Wolf doesn't really belong to any of the characters, and so it's a little more generic, which is slightly disappointing. I do always like getting the ones that the characters have, but with it having the all white or grayish design, you could say that this is a wild Zoid straight from the Zoid Eve herself. I'm a dork. I'm a walking encyclopedia. You should know this by now. But yeah, it really is cool to finally get another Zoids figure. Like I had a few when I was a kid. I think I've mentioned this before, but of course when you're a kid, like, you eventually get rid of stuff, or your parents get rid of stuff, so it is kind of disappointing. But it is cool to finally find this, and or at least something like this. And one of the coolest things about it is the place that I found it said that they got several totes in of minifigures, and they know I'm specifically looking for Zoids, so they're gonna be looking for more stuff like this, specifically for me. And I just think that's really cool. Always, like, form some kind of camaraderie with store owners, especially if you frequent them a lot. So, I mean, I just spent way too much time talking about a freaking minifigure, but honestly, I love Zoids, and I just think that's really cool that I found something. Moving on to actual video game stuff, and I have found basically a ton of stuff that I have been, like, not actively searching for, but have definitely been on my radar for quite a long time. And actually, a few things I have actively been searching for, starting off with the Crackdown 1 strategy guide. You saw in a previous video, I got Crackdown 1 and 2, the games, and the Crackdown 2 strategy guide, but I couldn't find the first game strategy guide. I have no idea why. It's not like this was, like, super uncommon. Like, the games themselves were easy enough to find, and the second strategy guide was freaking everywhere. So why was this the last piece of the collection for Crackdown that I was able to get? Like, I don't get it. But it's really cool. Like I said, I like having strategy guides for maps. Only problem is the poster got torn out already. But now that I have this, again, by the law of freaking irony, I'm definitely going to be finding another copy of the strategy guide at some point, probably with the poster in it. Who knows? Up next, I finally I got the strategy guides for these games in a previous video, and now I finally found the games. Blood Omen 2 and Defiance. I finally got these, and yeah, I finally decided I'm going to be getting them on original Xbox. I did receive a comment saying what I should get it on, but ultimately my decision was, well, first of all, it's just I like I said before, better hardware, and I need to flesh out the collection a little more. But also, in the long run, if I ultimately do need to just get PS2 copies, like if my Xbox craps out on me or whatever reason may come about, these would be more than easy to find on PS2. It's funny. I see the PS2 copies all over the place, and well, then again, law of irony. So who knows? But I thought getting these on original Xbox would just be fine on their own. And plus, you got 2 PS1 games, 1 PS2 game, and then 2 Xbox games. It's not exactly like even, so to speak, but it's cool to have different games on different platforms, even if they're all part of the same series. And again, if I really need to, I'll just grab the PS2 games. Like, it's not that hard. Plus, more excuses to talk about games in future pickups videos if I actually have to. Up next, and this is going to be a slightly controversial one, but Mega Man X7 and the strategy guide. It's crazy because I actually found I found a place that got a couple of Mega Man strategy guides. You'll see another one pretty soon. That I thought to myself, okay, I'll take a look, but I want to get the games as well. And eventually, I just literally tripped over multiple copies of the games that I'd be looking for, the games that go along with the strategy games. I'm like, well, shit, I got to do this. So yeah, and it is also part of the PS2 collection that I would have needed, part of the Capcom collection, and I guess similarly to Devil May Cry 2, I want to give this a fair shot. I know of its reputation. I know that even the biggest Mega Man fans, some of them can't even finish this one, and I get that. Although, unlike with DMC2, I've looked at gameplay of X7 that, a lot of people have referenced as oh, I just can't do it, and maybe this is cope, or maybe it's just me being naive, but the way the gameplay of X7 looks to me is it's kind of like a Ratchet and Clank game, but with a fixed camera perspective. And Ratchet and Clank already felt like a 3D iteration of the Mega Man formula, so it's kind of weird how some people would look at that. Granted, maybe this was because it was one of the first attempts, although there was also the Mega Man Legends series, and I know plenty of people love those games. So I'm not entirely certain, but I always look at when people talk about how bad X7 is, and they show gameplay, and I'm like, why aren't you jumping? Why aren't you moving around a lot more? It's so I had a friend, or I just had someone tell me that they didn't quite like Size Matters because the enemies do a ton of damage. The damage scaling is really off in this game, and that is true. Even if you have max armor and max health, enemies still do a lot of damage. But to that I say, why aren't you dodging? Why aren't you jumping around? Mega Man and Ratchet and Clank are also they're shooters, they're action games, but they're also platformers. If you're not flipping around while shooting the shit out of everything, you're playing them wrong. Again, I'm not sure if that assessment is accurate, but it's what I've always thought of whenever I see people talk about X7 in particular. And if I was able to beat Size Matters and really love Size Matters, in fact, I'm thinking about playing this again in the near future, then I don't see any reason why I shouldn't at least attempt to give X7 a fair shot. And who knows, maybe it really is the Ratchet and Clank mindset that's going to be the secret to beating this game. But again, that fixed camera angle is probably part of the issue as well. But again, plenty of games had fixed camera angles. I mean, for crying out, Devil May Cry, fixed camera angles. So again, I'm just talking way too much about the game that I have no idea if I am actually going to enjoy playing it, but I want to give it a fair shot. I want to give maybe not every game a fair shot, but at least all the ones that I'm even remotely interested in. And if X7 really does turn out to be as bad as many have claimed it to be, or many that I have seen talk about it, claim it to be, I have X8 to follow that up on. Yeah, like I said, I found like the same place had both strategy guides, and I'm like, ooh, that's really cool. Like I wanted to get them, but I wasn't sure if I'd be able to find X8 because I remember one place I went to had X8 for a pretty like high price, but then I found a very minty condition copy for like substantially less. So I'm like, sweet, I'll just grab that. And X7 was more than easy to find. Again, it was a pretty shat upon game, so again, maybe it's for a good reason, but I don't know. I want to give it a fair shot, but getting these back to back was just awesome. Regardless of what you think about this, like getting all of this in one fell swoop was just awesome. And I mean, yeah, like by the time I have the space to set up my PS2 and get my on the floor gaming chair back there set up, and I can play my PS2 on my CRT a lot more often, these are definitely going to be on the list. And like I said, if X7, if the fixed camera 3D game turns out to be bad, I've got the very next side-scroller, Mega Man, to follow that up on. And my exposure to the Mega Man series did start with, like I mentioned in, I think, Gaming Regrets, started with Powered Up and Maverick Hunter on the PSP. And this, like with the 3D models on a 2D plane, this is very much like those games, and I'm really... I may want to give X7 a fair shot, but the one I'm more excited to play is X8. And not even just for the fact that it's considered a better game than X7. Next up, this video is just full of nothing but strategy guides and then games to go along with them, but Final Fantasy II strategy guide. I don't actually have the game to go along with it, though, ironically, but... yeah, I did get Final Fantasy 1 plus the strategy guide to go along with it, the remaster for PSP. I did a whole video about that. I mean, you saw it was a pickup video, but it was also just me talking about Final Fantasy and turn-based combat in general. But this came from the same place. Now, why did I get this if I didn't find the second game? Well, that's because I found this for an insanely cheap price. And the same store that had this and the first game plus strategy guide also had 3. So I thought to myself, like, oh, I'll just grab the 2 strategy guides from the place that I know that has them and hopefully pick up the game for 2 while I'm out. And for some reason, I just can't find it. But it's not an uncommon game. So it'll be fine. I do like picking up guides or manuals for a game, even if I don't have the game itself, because finding the game is always going to be the easiest part. But if you find the game first, a lot of this stuff is going to be like almost impossible to get. I don't know why. The law of irony. But yes, the very last thing I'm going to talk about is Final Fantasy III. And yes, game plus strategy guide. I've mentioned before that this series was inspired... Well, my series of pickups videos was inspired by Alpha, and this is one of the games that he picked up in one of his videos. So it's something that's actually been on my mind for a fair bit. And like I said, I want to give Final Fantasy a true fair shot after my relative inexperience with the franchise, particularly because of... I mean, I talked about it in the video, but I just had a really bad experience with Final Fantasy 1 Remastered on PSP. Again, I want to give that game a fair shot, but I just want to give the whole series a fair shot because I know so many of them are so different from each other. I mean, I mentioned it last time with the Suikoden example. So it's like, if Final Fantasy can be so drastically different from game to game... Anyway, but yeah, I found Final Fantasy 3, and then I knew a place that had the strategy guide, so I just needed to get them both. And honestly... I think I'm going to be a little more interested in Final Fantasy III than I will be with 1 and 2. This isn't Final Fantasy VI. This is not the American, and I don't think it came out in Europe. Anyway, this isn't the Western Final Fantasy III. This is the original Final Fantasy III, finally translated, but unlike the remasters on PSP, this game is a full 3D remake of... the original 2D game on the Famicom. And I think because of the ground up redo of the game, it's going to be a little more user friendly, potentially. I don't know. It's still a retro style RPG, but having them on the go is definitely going to be much easier when it comes to like being able to get through it, especially with busy life schedule. And honestly, I know very little about this game except just it's a traditional turn-based RPG, but revamped for the DS era, and that's something that the DS did so well. So again, I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to be a good game, but I don't really know exactly what I'm getting into. It's a game I hear about. Alpha talked about it, and but I've never really exposed myself to it beyond that. And I'm looking forward to eventually playing it. I'm looking forward to playing all these games, even Final Fantasy 1 and 2 for PSP, because again, I love the PSP. I just didn't know what I was getting into when I was a kid when I played the first one. I did get to the final boss. I think I mentioned that in the Final Fantasy video, but I did get to Chaos. He just kept spam healing, and I don't know if there was something I missed or if just doing a few more side quests, actually any side quests at all, would have boosted me up to the point where I actually could get him before he started healing. But that is a completely different subject altogether. Anyway, that's a lot of games, and not even everything was a game. Like, I just wanted to talk about this. It's so cool to finally get more Zoids minifigs, because it's like very few people are out there collecting these. So yeah, you don't expect to find them all the time, but nice Zoid minifigure, and just a ton of games and strategy guides I've been looking for, and I just need time to play everything. Too many games, not enough time. And I work in a factory, so cut that not enough time in half. But I still love doing this. It's just fun, and I like sharing it with all of you. With all that, I am NerdRage36, and I'll see you later.